Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the story of Jade Empire. No commentary involved.
I'm not scared of the Lotus Assassins, but I still wouldn't want to talk to one. I like watching the... I'm not scared of...
Some of the finest items you'll ever find can be bought right here in the city.
Oh no, you weird.
So you're the new fighter in town. Good luck.
Watch yourself around the low.
Lost, citizen? Be about your business and stay out of trouble. Pleasure to be of service.
My mom thinks the arena is silly. My dad says mom needs to get a hobby. My brother teases me about ghosts all the time, but I don't...
Emperor Sunhai is a great man. I've seen some strange...
Lost, citizen? Be about your...
Hold on there. This way leads into the necropolis, a dangerous area. You shouldn't go in there unless you have some business there. Ghosts have been rising up everywhere in the Empire, I've heard. So many have come up in the necropolis that it just isn't safe anymore. It would take an army of us to clear them out, if we could do it at all. We can't even safely post a guard in there. We just warn people away. The Lotus Assassins want everyone kept away as well. First time I've heard of them being altruistic. Things have been bad over the past few, let's say 5 years. No one has any idea why so many of the dead refuse to return to the Wheel of Life peacefully. All we know for sure is that they're not happy. Not happy at all. Ghosts have been rising up everywhere in the Empire, I've heard. So many have come up in the necropolis that it just isn't safe anymore. It would take an army of us to clear them out. We just... Bad. Real bad. Monks used to go in every few weeks to clean out the ones who had risen. But lately it's become too much for them to handle. You look like a warrior. I'm sure you know that even if you disperse a ghost in combat, they reform again eventually. It takes a long time, but it's inevitable. Leave the dead to their own is what I say. Just block the whole place off and start again somewhere else. Anything else you need? Talk helps pass the time on duty. Captain Sen has you collecting heads for him, does he? Good for you. A woman did make her way into the necropolis some time ago. She seemed a bit wild around the eyes and ignored me when I tried to warn her. She certainly hasn't left, so if it was this fading moon, you should still be able to find her in there. I'll make sure she doesn't slip out behind you. Not at all. This is pretty light work, since no one in their right mind would go in the necropolis. It's the City of the Dead, as some call it. The burial tombs of hundreds of generations of our most honored ancestors. To be buried in the necropolis is a great honor. Sadly, things are not well in there right now. As grand a place as it is, you must be on your guard at all times, even if you're a skilled warrior. This city, the heart of the Jade Empire, the shining jewel of all civilization, the home of the Emperor. What's not great about this city? Everything here is taken to its utmost. The most elegant nobles, the wisest scholars, richness, opulence. The Imperial City is the best part of the Empire. True, this is the Golden Way, but even the poorest districts of the city are gilded compared to filth in which the howling barbarians outside of the Empire live. The Empire? What is there to know? The world bows before us. Everyone is in awe of our culture. We are the finest and purest examples of the human race. Led by the most glorious Emperor, we are truly the people closest to heaven. The Lotus Assassins. They are the personal guard of the Emperor and serve directly under Death's hand. They are above our laws and act with impunity. We are forced to obey, or they kill. Even us, even soldiers. But the Emperor either turns a blind eye or is so far under the sway of Death's hand that... I've said too much. The less said about them, the better. They listen from the shadows. It's not wise to speak about them. Anything? Stay away from the necropolis. It's dangerous.
I greet you, sir. I wonder if you might have some silver to spare. I come from a very wealthy family. As such, I have a certain lifestyle to maintain. Parties, female admirers, lots of wine. You understand. I have to have an income, don't I? My father looked at my considerable expenses and told me to get my own silver. Of course, I am a noble. The shame of manual labor or the stink of trade must not be allowed to touch me, or even waft its way close to me. How could there be shame? You've got it and I want it. Should I steal it? Never. Simply ask like a civilized soul, I say. I am afraid I cannot do that. That would be trade, and I simply will not sully my beautifully soft hands with such. I will tell you for free, however. I read all the greatest philosophers and consulted with wise men before reaching this decision. I assure you the philosophical underpinnings are quite sound. Wisdom is only gained by experience, wine, women, and song, as it were. But a life of revel with no reflection still does not lead to true wisdom. One must ponder, one must daydream. Even if I could bear the shame of sullying my hands with work, when would I think? How could I grow wise? Well, it loses some of the subtlety when you put it that way. But yes. I thank you. It's not easy for one such as I. I have it far more difficult than the impoverished beggars of this city. Farewell.
If I catch my husband betting...
Your parentage is below average, and your ancestry is of questionable worth. You dress yourself in the manner of a common laborer. Nobody's paying any attention.
Keep trying, just as I instructed.
Your physique seems exceptional. Clearly you are a peasant. A noble could afford sloth. Your breath is like the wind of an ox. Your last meal was of suspect quality. Your beliefs are superficial, and your culture is substandard.
You are right to demand an explanation. Forgive my servant. I instructed him to find someone not distracted by mere insults, someone who would command respect. Your demand for justification of his arguments was admirable. You are exactly what we need. An outlander strolled into the city several days ago and now sits like a cormorant taking what he wants from the river of our hospitality. He balks at our attempts to calm him and answers requests for payment with strange coins of questionable value. He needs to go. The outlander is not a dignitary or traveling merchant. He is a parody of civilized behavior. He spews insults at the Emperor himself. So far, he has escaped the notice of any higher officials. Perhaps he was mistaken for an actor in a troupe, but that will not last. If he is reported, the Lotus assassins will take notice. They'll want to know if he was harbored or his offense was encouraged. Guilt by association is enough for them. That's what's so infuriating. He doesn't respond to reason. He proposes challenges we don't understand, and then declares himself the winner. Several of our brightest have faced him, but as soon as they get the better of him, he sets off his strange firework and says they are beaten. Normally, the peasants like it when we intellectuals are maligned, but they tire of his presence too. Getting rid of this nuisance will endear you to many. I hope your ability matches your conviction. Several others have fallen short, despite their outrage at his antics. He is in the scholar's garden, and no amount of opposition has moved him. Please, I hope you will prove to be a worthy opponent.
You look tough, but I'm not sure if you have what it takes to win in the arena.
If you're going to do well in the arena, you'll need strength and luck. Lots of luck.
Lost, citizen? This district? Well, it's called the Golden Way for a variety of reasons. Certainly one of the richer areas of the city, and one of the best looking as well. This district is a major thoroughfare, with the Scholar's Garden at one end and the Market District at the other. There's also the Necropolis, but most people avoid that place. Who wants to spend time with the dead? Be about your business and...
This place reminds me of expensive wine. Lots of flavor, but no kick.
I didn't expect you in your strange training to make it to the Imperial City. You are proving to be a very interesting person. Of course, I could tell that just by looking at you. You have a very strong presence. As the Heavenly Lily, I am above suspicion, but I am restrained by fawning servants. Silk Fox can go anywhere, and people are not shy about their reactions. There is a thrill, of course, and it allows me to find information useful to us both. Death's Hand brought your Master Li to the palace a few days ago. I saw the flyer. He was bound in chains. He must be powerful, or you are. There was something familiar about him as well. Why would you say that? Is that what he told you? I'm sorry, but I simply cannot believe that your Master Li is the glorious strategist. I was too young to know him. I was told that he and Prince Qin, the third brother, fell defending the Empire 20 years ago. Now it seems they may have been traitors. I discovered this looking through records for information on Death's Hand. Perhaps he tried to influence Sun Li and Sun Qin before corrupting my father. But it doesn't matter who your master is. I could take you to the palace, but Death's Hand controls what my father hears. He must be discredited for you to succeed. Death's Hand has almost total control over my father. We must find conclusive evidence of his crimes and reveal his corruption. And I know how. Construction on the wall has stopped for the first time in generations. The workers now toil in factories building powerful creatures of stone and clay called golems. Death's Hand could use these automatons to seize the Empire, and my father is oblivious. We must infiltrate the Lotus Assassins and find evidence of this treachery. We need proof of Death's Hand's intent from the seat of his power, the Lotus Assassin Fortress. It would be impossible to assault, so just walk in. They are recruiting. Have any Lotus Assassins who saw your face lived to report back? I doubt it. They will not recognize you as the person who fought them in Tian's Landing. They have a vague description full of guesswork that has guards holding people at random. Besides, they expect an attack, not someone trying to catch their eye. I would wager that you may profit from their tasks too. Can you see the beauty in using their own methods of recruitment to fight them? I think they deserve it. There are guilds within the Lotus Assassins. Executioners look for fearsome warriors. Inquisitors are more subversive, and they look for cunning in their agents. If you prove yourself in the arena, they will notice you. My people can spread rumors of your interest. The Executioner will take a real interest when you finish the silver round. Or if you prefer, the Inquisitor recruiter is also seeking new people. He might be open to persuasion. Death's Hand rules over the Lotus Assassins, so I take special interest in their activities. I've had most of my life to ask questions. You suspect my motives? You have no reason to doubt me. If I wanted the Lotus Assassins to find you, I could simply tell them your name. Yes, I will have my people spread rumors of your interest. Once you pass the silver round, the Executioner will take an interest. I'm sure he will find you as impressive as I do. Or, if you prefer, court the Inquisitor. Ask Scholar Dongao in the Scholar's Garden about him. I hear Dongao is closer to the Assassins than he should be. I will wait at your flyer. Or I could travel with you. Before you get too lost, perhaps we should, discuss how closely we will be working together? Of course. I look forward to it.
Ah, excellent. I have many items just waiting for you.
Well, look who we have here. There's no princess to save you this time.
Do you think we'd forget? You can't humiliate us and just walk away. We'll teach you to insult a guard of the Imperial City.
Legendary strike.
Welcome, friend. The lecture won't be starting for a little while, though your enthusiasm is appreciated. I wouldn't worry about seating. Those interfering philosophers had made sure that very few people will be attending the lecture. Certainly, we can't learn without asking questions. How can I help you today? Don't let the name fool you. There are fewer scholars here than you might think. We are far outnumbered by those obstinate philosophers. The philosophers believe that the gods dictate everything, from the rising of the sun to the changing seasons. If the summer ends too soon or too late, the gods must be angry. Of course, anyone who cares to look can see that the birds control the weather. I have noted with some accuracy that the birds predict the seasons. I have a theory that the massive movements of birds in the autumn and spring actually cause the prevailing winds to change direction. When birds fly south just before autumn, they cause the winds to change. We get cold air from the north until the spring, when the birds reverse the winds again. It's really quite simple, but just try telling that to one of the philosophers. Don't get me wrong, I like most of the philosophers, but their strict adherence to aging traditions makes them very difficult to deal with. They're always preaching about peace and harmony. Really, we kill and subdue the creatures of this world in order that we can survive. Where's the peace in that? Can a man survive long enough without eating meat? What about the grains we use to make our bread, or the hides we use for any number of things? We consume constantly. Peace and harmony are wonderful ideals, but in nature only the strong survive, and they don't do it by being peaceful. I'm glad you asked. Today I will speak on my theories of cloud formation. That was my first major discovery, though it hasn't been widely accepted yet. The basic principles are really quite simple. I deduced after lengthy study that clouds are formed by the moisture escaping from our bodies. When the weather is cool, you can clearly see small clouds escaping from people's mouths. Similar clouds form on the skin of people working strenuously in the cold. These clouds of breath rise up and collect near the tallest peaks, where it is almost always cloudy. This was one of my finest discoveries. What? Huh, that's quite a question. I'm not sure who told you, but I'd appreciate it if you would keep your voice down when asking those kinds of questions. Nobody here suspects me to be anything but an overzealous scholar, and I'd like to keep it that way. So you want to know about the recruiter? You have a flying machine, do you not? Yes, I know about that. Go back to the landing area and someone will meet you there. The location is public, yet relatively private. Common folk are not welcome on the landing area, so there will be no crowds to hide spies, or an ambush. If the Lotus Assassins wanted you dead, your life would be over before you even knew you were in danger. He already knows, I'm sure. Now go, and I will not speak to you about this any further.
Let's get back to the Dragonfly. If we hurry, we can have a couple of drinks before this other guy shows up.
One cannot discover true enlightenment in the world. It comes only from within. To achieve a stronger spirit, you must first make peace with yourself. Focusing one's thoughts requires balance. Living without balance weakens the mind. Do not be fooled by those who would tell you that studying is the key to true enlightenment. To achieve a stronger spirit, you must first make peace with. Come and learn about the ways of sagacious Tien. Free your body, mind, and spirit. Come and learn. Come and...
Lost, citizen? The Scholar's Garden is a quiet place. Quiet until a pair of the scholars break out into a debate, that is. Certainly a lot of knowledge being thrown around this place. I'll let you decide for yourself how much of it is worthwhile. Be about your business.
Hello there, traveler. Forgive my forwardness, but I noticed your arrival earlier while I was at the tavern. That flying machine of yours is truly a marvel. I actually have a design for a new prototype flyer, and I hope to get funding to build it one day. The other scholars aren't interested in my inventions, though. Me? You want to ask me something? Well, sure, I'd be glad to help you if I can. What would you like to know? Oh, I'm Scholar Zenyu. I'm one of the newer scholar elites. I was actually born in the poor quarter, but my uncle brought me here when I was only 10. He knew I would never have a chance at a real life unless I had some proper schooling. I've lived here with him ever since. That's right, you're new here, aren't you? Well, where should I begin? There's so much to tell you. There are several important areas here in the city. Of course, there are also many different services, too. I'm not sure what to tell you first. Sure. Well, let's see. This place is the Scholars' Garden. For the most part, only stuffy old philosophers and scholars reside here. Farther down toward the city, you'll find the Golden Way. Many wealthy people live and work there. Hopefully some willing to fund one of my inventions. Then there's the Market District, near where you landed earlier. Most of the city does its business there. It's an interesting place. At least, I think so. You'll also find the path to the Black Leopard School there, across the river from the arena. I haven't been there, but I hear it's an interesting place to visit. One of the best places in the city is the arena. Just don't tell my masters I said so. If you go to the arena, you'll also see the heart of the Empire Tavern. And of course, there are several shops and merchants with all manner of supplies available. All of that can be found in the Market District. I'm not supposed to go there. At least not when I'm studying, but it's hard to resist. It's known as the best tavern in all the Empire. I actually do some of my best thinking while I'm there. I like to sit in the upper rooms with a bit of wine and just look out over the city, or the arena. Of course. What do you want to know? Sure. What would you like to know? A city like this always has rumors. Some people say the ghosts are angry and attacking innocent people. Another rumor suggests the Emperor is dying. But I wouldn't believe any of that. Just because the Emperor hasn't been seen in a while doesn't mean he's ill. Perhaps he just wants some solitude. The Emperor is a wise and powerful man. How else could he have solved the drought so many years ago? I wasn't born then, but I've heard the stories. It's true that he hasn't been seen much recently, but I don't think it's anything to worry about. It's not like the Empire is falling apart in his absence. Maybe he's just taking a rest from all the hard work he's done. Nobody deserves a rest more than the Emperor. I think they are just rumors. I haven't seen any ghosts at all, angry or otherwise. If the ghosts are angry about something, why aren't they here right now? Come to think of it, I don't know any one person who's ever seen a ghost. I prefer to spend my time and energy on things that are real. Designing a new prototype flying machine, now that's important. Sure. What would you like? Now there's a question you don't hear very often. Not too many people like to talk about him. In fact, if I were you, I'd be careful who I ask. I'm not one to believe in superstitious nonsense, but I still wouldn't want to draw his attention. He's very powerful and very dangerous. Some people even suggest that he has gained some control over our honorable Emperor. I find it hard to believe, but I suppose it's possible. A city like this but I wouldn't believe. All right then. Goodbye.
Wosansiazo no go boko. Koni uk noia kup sa ia sisia su ukot. Tatsa ia okayoe ia fonia sisa ia trusta pafawe ia touia. Aworth utkua wo kokopia kawa ia elworth. Wasafno sositu noko ota napia ifa ia ok. Wo kupketita sumpono? Sathwa kawa ia ifiak? Woso awi ani tu uksumpuno. Kutkosi wiwa ya wo nawa ya ifa wiya o ka wikino. Koni uk noia kup sa ia sisia su ukot. O ifo ia uk sonkop noko isansia. Ni wupa ia kupu sa ia awath kraka ia nano uksaro isowak nikano wo napia shathia uko. Awath utkua wo kokopia kawa ia ewo. Wakawa ia tanke ia nano wo ia wasonak. Uksa ia spithuki ukoniero thakno. Uksa ia ifratsa ia thosopani rania. Kawa ia a ithino nahipino feitea. Yowea sonsia wo yowea kon ompefivia.
Greetings and welcome to the Scholar's Garden. I am Philosopher Xiao, one of the many masters you will see here during your visit. I see by your accoutrements that you are not from the Imperial City. I hope your visit here is one of fulfillment and success. As sagacious Tien once said, more valuable than silk are new friends in a foreign land. If you need anything, I will be glad to assist you. As sagacious Tien once said, kind words and respectable attire are seldom a sign of true character. Only deeds reveal the intent of the soul. I am glad to help you in any way I can. I am honored that you would ask me, though I must warn you, the teachings take a lifetime to learn and cannot be taught in a day. Perhaps I could explain the core principles of Tien's teachings. I could recite the history of Tien if you like. The teachings of sagacious Tien are very simple, but the implications are astoundingly complex. At the heart of the teachings are the concepts of harmony and discord. Also referred to as the way of the open palm and the way of the fist, one cannot exist without the other, but neither can they coexist in one person. Harmony with the world comes from understanding your place in the world. An ant that believes it is a tiger will never achieve harmony. In other words, accepting your place in the world and using your skills accordingly is the optimal way of following the path of harmony. Discord is the other side of the coin. People who choose the path of discord seek their own advancement over everything else. These people will ignore the world and use whatever means necessary to raise themselves above their station. Sagacious Tien taught both harmony and discord to his students, for one cannot be fully known without the other. However, he himself followed the way of harmony. Sagacious Tien was the first emperor of the Jade Empire. He was a philosopher and a leader without compare, unifying the warring factions of his time. His teachings founded this great empire, though there was very little written about Tien himself. We do know that he brought peace to the people of the empire, and since that time, his teachings have guided hundreds of generations of followers. Of course. What would you like to know? The Scholar's Garden is the seat of learning in the Jade Empire. The philosophers and scholars who live here dedicate their lives to the pursuit of wisdom. The scholars are dedicated to unlocking the secrets of the physical world. Many still follow the teachings of sagacious Tien, though some take their studies too far. I am certainly not opposed to their ways of study. Indeed, the scholars have made many wonderful and important discoveries. We philosophers dedicate our lives to the study and teaching of the ways of sagacious Tien. We believe in peace and harmony and balance. Many find it difficult to grasp the significance or usefulness of our studies, but we assist anyone willing to learn the ancient teachings. Of course. What would you like to know? I am afraid I would not be the best person to ask, but there are others to whom I could direct you. A good question. I am sometimes saddened by the fact that I cannot participate more in the life that surrounds me. However, I forego these simple pleasures to remain focused on the learning and application of the teachings of Sagacious Tien. Don't misunderstand me. I am content with the choices I've made, but doubts cannot be completely resolved, and the city is a constant reminder of my decision. You could ask young scholar Zenyu. He spends a good deal of time in the city enjoying worldly pursuits, though he does not think his masters know it. There is also a man named Bai who works near the Imperial Arena. He is renowned for his knowledge of the city. As you wish. With luck, the winds of heaven will bring us together again one day. Farewell. Good to see you again. The winds truly favor me by bringing you here once more. What can I do for you today? Of course. The teachings of Sagacious Tien are well, that is a delicate issue. The recruiter is not so easy to find. I'm sorry, but I can't tell you much more than that. As you...
I hope you're not here to pester me. I'm a very busy, important, and educated man, you know. All manner of studies. The history of dramatic systems, applied theology, and, celestial integration. All of these are vital pursuits of knowledge. Not that you would understand such lofty matters. Well, you see, drama can be broken down into several systems, and I study the history of those systems over time, how they've changed, and that sort of thing. Well, there's the new system, of course, but everyone knows that. Then we have the, old system, which, as you may surmise, is no longer in use. That's a brief summary of my latest work, at any rate. Oh, it's all very complex, and I really don't feel like describing it to you at any length. That's how you know I'm a scholar, you see. An unwillingness to share all the information I have. Too large a subject for your mind to comprehend, I'm sure. Well, it's the application of the study of theological things, isn't it? For instance, knowing about spirits and then finding a use for that knowledge. Well, no, not really. This is the study of applied theology, not the application of studied theology. That's something else entirely. Celestial integration means just that. It's integrated, celestially. Thus, the relationship between the heavens and earth is one of integration and, celestial. It's a very advanced field of research. It would take several lifetimes to understand it properly, which is why my position as a scholar is so irrefutable. Oh, I doubt it. You don't look the type for heavy reading. You're far too fit to be properly read. Of course, none of my books are published yet, but as a scholar and a respected one, I will most certainly pen some marvelous books someday.
Well, yes. Unless your theories are astoundingly brilliant, which is the case with me. A shame. My studies are very important to me. I am a scholar, after all. Suspicious? Oh, heavens no. Everyone here is extremely legitimate and completely normal. Yes, indeed. Well, no, not him. He, of course, isn't usual in the usual, sense. Not at all. Everyone else, though, is perfectly legitimate. General questions? Who has time for such mundane subjects? Go ask one of the scholars. One of the other scholars, that is. Of course not! Drat. This isn't working at all. How did you know? You're here to hunt me down, then. Lord Rento has it in for me, and I figured it would come to this. I don't suppose running would do me any good. I was unjustly accused. I simply petitioned Lady Rento for some silver to support me as an actor. Patronage, it's called. She agreed, but her husband flew into a rage when he found out, and now I have a death sentence on my head. It's not fair, and if you were a decent person, you'd help me get out of this city instead of taking me in. It's the only way I'll get clear of Lord Rento's wrath. You need more proof than my pathetic attempt to pose as a scholar? How about the fact that Lord Rento was out of town when I bilked him? Not that anyone but Lady Rento will confirm that for you. Still, it should be apparent that I'm not some great confidence man. We should go see Captain Sen right away if you're sure. Is now a fair time to go down to the gate to get me out of here? I understand. Attend to whatever else you had to do. And if you're still willing to help me, come back and see me.
If I had to live here for more than a day, I'd throw myself off the nearest cliff.
Awukte yer wa na pa yer uk forti. Akir sonwi ni fayit wo wir waka wir usono ni fayiter ofino. Ike kir ki yer washatiruk. Uk nik kup kitro sa irustap kithno uk yower kwadnerk. Sunurk no ku wu ifuwir sower tatasi ni siso ir ka wikawar ir roren. Usa ir sa wi api ir ninu siso ir tiuth. Wawawir shaksi ir kawir onk ni siso ir akuwu uksunti wawawir shaksi ir fukno. Sunurk no ku wu ifuwir sower tatasi ni siso ir ka wikawar ir roren. Krans niwu no yir wa yir uk sakwanerko uk nik ni siso ir akuwu. Ike kir ki yir washatiruk. Pir inni tino wir noni apatar wo kawar nif. Ni siso ir akuwu kusuwir wawuso ir tan.